Hello there, CryptoQ Media. I'm glad you decided to check out my channel again. This news has been publicly announced by Russia. Think about April 2023, when Russia decided to move on with the Crypto International Settlement project. It has been an extraordinarily lengthy period since we announced the sanctions against Russia in March of 2022. The fact that over 2 years have gone by is almost unbelievable. However, ever since then, Russia and the BRICS have been actively working to develop a new financial paradigm by competing with the US currency and the US-based financial system. The technology they're utilizing is the most important part of this. Cryptocurrency takes center stage. Despite the fact that the situation is more complex than it appears, politicians who are against crypto continue to assert that, for example, Russia is utilizing crypto to evade sanctions. But you should be most worried about the shift in digital assets and cryptocurrencies. Right now, what we're witnessing is a complete shift in the financial industry. For the sake of staying away from the US-dominated banking system, people are now finding other ways to get around it. An about-face is being attempted by them. To everyone's knowledge, I've been following this development for a considerable amount of time. Neither the US dollar nor the US financial system have collapsed. What we are witnessing is something else different. Everything is setting the stage for the official launch of the new financial system, which will supersede the old one. Using US dollars or being part of a US-controlled financial system is pointless for these countries, thus they will stop doing it. Digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and even digital currencies created by governments are gaining a lot of attention. Despite the fact that digital currencies are being investigated by 93% of central banks, many people remain obsessed on the US dollar. The worldwide monetary system is at the heart of this matter, not the US dollar. This is breaking news. All of a sudden, everything is changing drastically. Just few months after Rosbank began to make advances with crypto, Russia is their first cryptocurrency for cross-border payments. Another big event, the adoption of Bitcoin, for which everyone appeared to be forecasting the dollar's downfall. Russia has, more recently, discussed adopting Bitcoin payments to ease trade delays on July 25, 2018. Given the current climate, I think the US will finally begin to treat cryptocurrencies with the seriousness it deserves and take action in this space. Cryptocurrency has become a hotly contested topic in political circles, and its potential as a tool for political manipulation is well known. From here on out, I see nothing but steep hills until the general public recognizes that the cryptocurrency industry is the catalyst for a technical shift in the banking sector as a whole, and not just a fad. Russia is currently building upon this. Russia has made yet another announcement. The point is that despite the crypto restrictions imposed by the EU, Russians are continuing to use digital currency. Furthermore, it is reasonable to presume that they will continue to use and transfer funds using digital currencies, as they are obviously trying to evade sanctions. They want to cut ties with the US since the US has used the dollar as a weapon for so long. Moreover, there are nations that have had enough. I have already brought up the fact that the main problem in Libya was Gaddafi's demand for a gold-backed currency. The key problem was that the constant threat of war at the time necessitated the protection of the US dollar. The present problem is that, well, BRICS are big, and BRICS keeps expanding, and not only among the member states of the BRICS bloc. In this situation, what shall we do? The United States now considers it a big issue. Basically, we won't just get up and say, all right, it seems like we're in for a full-scale conflict with every single one of the BRICS countries now. Personally, I don't think that will work. Make a change now. Legislators and Federal Reserve officials are pushing for a US stablecoin or a Western-dominated stablecoin because they believe it would be good for the dollar and economic growth. In reality, what's going to happen in the US is a CBDC. An example of a stablecoin would be that. A government-issued coin is an example of a stablecoin. I mean, that's it. Just that, a CBDC. Thus, when they bring up stablecoins and CDCs, they won't actually ban anything. They are banning the term CDC and rostering in a stablecoin so that regular people can feel good about investing in CBDCs. The new structure may begin to take form if these nations are no longer bound to follow American policy. They also have a digital currency issued by their central bank, known as CBDC, in addition to a stablecoin that is linked to their currency. Everything in the world is experiencing this right now. Tether's stable currency, boasted about on July 26 by a Chinese business, allows you to circumvent Russian sanctions. To begin with, what interests me is that it's putting Tether in a negative light. Possibly in the third or fourth quarter, Ripple will launch its stablecoin. I find this very amusing. Notable as well is the pervasiveness of stable currency even in circumstances like penalty and evasion. From this point forward, things will only worsen. The importance of cryptos as a political instrument ensures that its pour-round sanctions will be a prominent topic in the near future, if not already. But let's go back to 2023 before we go on to 2020. Until almost midway through 2024. So far, all we know is that criminals utilize stable currency and crypto for various purposes. These make me laugh since it seems like there will always be some shady dealings with fiat currency. In the United States, for instance, fiat currency has been in circulation for a long time, decades, and has been involved in illegal transactions. In regards to evading penalties, this is definitely making a splash. Crypto laws are the end game here, and this is only paving the way for them to become more obvious. We can start to shape the new system once we set rules for this region. Which, incidentally, is already, to some extent, happening. On July 23, discussing regulations and rules is, well, funny. Russia is considering legalizing cryptocurrencies as a means to ease international payments. Looking at the bigger picture, it's clear that cryptocurrency is all the rage these days. It could lead to a new age of international finance unfettered by nations like the US, which would be a huge deal. Since this is taking power away from the US, they are understandably unhappy about it, and tensions between the two countries are growing. Nevertheless, this is essential for companies to have in order to join the worldwide market, especially when dealing with punishment systems. Cryptocurrency, stable currencies, and the digital asset sector are some of the new paths they're investigating, as conventional wisdom isn't always correct. It became apparent during U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's testimony before the House Financial Services Committee that the U.S. is closely monitoring Russia's use of cryptocurrency and basic coins to avoid sanctions. From where we sit, Russia isn't doing anything very interesting. But when our penalties are tightened up, it creates a problem. Thus, what they are basically saying is that Russia will encourage the usage of digital assets and cryptocurrency as sanctions increase in severity. When it starts to get bigger, they can't turn a blind eye to it until it starts to bother them. Businesses in Russia are facing penalties from the US because to the country's racist and illicit cryptocurrency. It means a lot to me that you've subscribed and watched my channel. Later, I will see you.